Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once more to Wafu TV. If this is your first time, this is a platform where we demystify, simplify, and exemplify elementary mathematics for your understanding. Last time, we talked about multiplication of decimals, and today we are going to be looking at division of decimals. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to divide decimals by whole numbers as well as divide decimals by decimals. The first thing we'll look at is division of decimals by whole numbers. And here is our first example. Follow up because we are going to use all the skills acquired here in our subsequent lessons. Don't blink. In our first example, what you are supposed to do as far as this is concerned is to divide as in ordinary mathematics. That is, divide as if the decimal point is not there, but make sure you fix the decimal point in your answer. 0.5 divided by 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. If you subtract, you have 0. You bring down 5. Here you neglect the 0, but you fix it above. 5 divided by 2 is going to give 2 times, and 2 times 2 is 4. And if you subtract here, the difference is 1. The decimal point already exists. So in this case, you just affix a 0 here, and this becomes 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. Here the difference is 0, and our answer will be equal to 0.25. In our second example, we still have a decimal divided by a whole number. And we are going to use the same method as in example 1 to solve. So the first thing is you identify this is your dividend and this is the divisor. You put it in this 94.72 divided by 4. 9 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. And if you find the difference is 1. 1 cannot divide, so you bring down 4. It becomes 14. 14 divided by 4 is 3. And 3 times 4 will give 12. Find the difference here, you have 2. Now you are crossing the decimal point, so you fix it up, down, no problem. You can bring down 7. 27 divided by 4 is going to give 6 times. 6 times 4, 24. And if you find the difference, it's going to give you 3. There is 2 left, you bring down 2. This is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 times 4, 32. And if you find the difference here is 0. And the answer here will be 23.68. That is it as far as dividing decimals by whole numbers is concerned. Let's now look at division of decimals by powers of 10. When dividing decimals by powers of 10, 100, 1000, move the decimal point 1, 2, or 3 places to the left respectively. Unlike multiplication where we move the decimal point to the right, here in division we move the decimal point to the left in accordance with the power. If it's by 10, you move it once. If it's by 100, you move it twice. And if it's by 1000, you move it 3 times. So in this case, we have 5 divided by 10. And with 5, the decimal point is directly here. And if we are asked to move it one place to the left, it's going to move from here back this way. So the answer will be 0.5. Example 2. We are going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So it moves from here, 1, 2, and falls between 2 and 1. So the answer here will be 62.173. And the last one is we are going to move the decimal point 3 places to the left because we are dividing by 1000. So it will move 1, 2, 3. Here you realize that there is an empty space. So with this empty space, you have fixed a 0. This will be 0.0 here, then 6, 5, and 4. This is what you do if you're asked to multiply by powers of 10, 100, or 1000. You simply just shift the decimal point to the left according to the number of zeros that you have in the power. With this understood, now let's look at how we can divide a decimal by another decimal. For instance, we have 4.68 divided by 0.4. This is the same as what is written here. We have the dividend and we have the divisor. So what you do as far as this is concerned is we will draw inspiration from our first example. Here we have a decimal and we're dividing by a whole number. So what we can do to easily solve this is to change the divisor into a whole number and we can divide our decimal by a whole number. And in this case, with our knowledge of multiplication by power of 10 and division by power of 10, how can we change this to a whole number? That is, how do we move the decimal point from here in front of 4 so that 4 becomes a whole number? If you want to move the decimal point to the right, that is simply multiplication. And for that reason, we multiply the divisor by 10 and equally multiply the numerator by 10. This will give us 46.8 because the decimal point will move here. And here will be 4. So we have our decimal to divide by a whole number. That is 46.8 divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Difference is 0. You bring down 6. 6 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. The difference here will be 2. And 2 divided by 4, you cannot go. We bring down 8. As you bring down 8, you are crossing the decimal point. You fix it here. And 28 divided by 4 is going to give us 7. 7 times 4 is going to give 28. And the difference here is 0. So our answer is equal to 11.7. This is what you do if you are asked to divide a decimal by another decimal. Make sure the divisor is changed to a whole number, and you can now divide your decimal by a whole number. So let's move to the next, and of course the last example for the day, which is still under dividing decimals by another decimal. As we've seen here, make the divisor a whole number. So that's the same thing we're going to apply in this. First, you can just write it as such: 0.588 divided by 0.12. So below we have 2 decimal places, and to make it a whole number, you multiply by 100 so that the decimal point moves 2 places to the right. So we multiply here by 100, and we do the same for the numerator so that this numerator becomes 58.8 divided by, here becomes a whole number, 12, and that is 58.8 divided by 12. 58 divided by 12 2 times. 2 times 12, 48. The difference here will be 10, and 10 divided by this, it cannot. We have a number here, you bring it down, 8. Once you cross over, you fix a decimal point. 108 divided by 12 is going to go 9 times. 9 times 12, 108. So that the difference is 0, and the answer here is equal to 2.9. So this is it as far as division of decimals is concerned, and we believe you've learned something. If you did, give us a thumbs up, comment where necessary so that we can improve on the service. Next time, we're going to continue with decimals, and this time around, it's going to be quite interesting. Do not miss our next lesson. See you next time. Ciao.